Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we constantly think of ways in which we can give you guys more information on some misunderstood things that happen to you in the fitting bay and on the golf course. This might be one of the most misunderstood things, I think, out of all the things we have to try and juggle and weigh up when we're playing golf in elements.
What is a FLIER?
What is a FLIER? People talk about it all the time. Yeah. I get jumpers, I get flyers. I got a FLIER there. What happened? Do you know? Probably not.
Did you just hit a bad shot and want to blame it on a FLIER?
Probably not. You thought you got a hot spot in the iron.
Yeah, exactly.
Amount of times I hear that one.
Oh, it's so true.
So lots of things to consider when we're talking about complications in impact conditions. Obviously friction can interfere with launch and spin. Speed, if speed is retained but launch and spin are interfered with, we see sort of unique launch conditions. We're going to dive into all of that today. We're doing it indoors, and we are intending on doing this outdoors with some other conditions, but here's just one primary example of what we think are some of the misunderstood things about FLIERs. So let's dive in there, Matty. I want to get you to hit a long iron and a short iron.
Yes.
Start with a 9, we'll then go to a 4. We're going to hit it dry, we're going to hit it wet.
Yes, and the wet is basically simulating either, yes, there is moisture outside, but it also simulates the fact that grass is mostly made up of water.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So you're losing that friction based on the sort of the moisture element of the grass, but the grass is not, in this case, so we're reducing the friction, but we're not reducing the ball speed.
Yeah, same ball speed.
Yeah, so that's one of those kind of little lies that's kind of sitting quite nice.
Yeah.
And you hit it really well and you go, geez, and it just comes out flat.
A
and
FLIER.
Then all of a sudden he gets a FLIER. And it goes over the back of the green. So
yeah.
Today, obviously, we will not look at ball speed as a variable, because if the ball was sitting down the rough, then it would be a variable. Today, we're just looking at friction loss.
Exactly.
Lovely. It's nice. Okay, easy work.
There are high 7s, should be the average.
Yeah. Okay. Going to add some interference with my little, it's raining in TXG.
Lovely.
My little groove it brush.
Okay. So we're basically simulating what a bit of grass and a bit of moisture would do.
Yeah. Might even see a couple of sprinkles mid-shot.
All right. Oh, good. Is it raining out?
Oh. Okay, how'd you hit that one?
Thin.
Okay. Let's see a few more.
Yeah, that's the same as the other swings.
There, it looked like maybe I had more spin that one. It's got a bit of a rise to it. Lovely.
That's a FLIER.
Looks quite similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That spin up.
68. So again, that's a FLIER for sure.
Okay, Matty. So friction difference. All right.
Yeah.
We lost spin. No surprise.
No.
We kind of probably thought that was going to happen. What was probably the biggest surprise was the launch conditions stayed the same. Interestingly enough, the more loft, just as an FYI, the more loft we use, the bigger difference we will see in that. The launch angle will really come down.
So sand wedge, you'd expect 10, 15 yards of difference versus just the 5 or 6 here?
Absolutely.
This is still what a FLIER is, but it's marginally less with the 9-iron.
Yeah, yeah. We're looking for sort of sand wedge launch angles to be probably around 26, 27. And then if we were to wet that, we might see it go to 10 more.
Yeah,
might see 35 to 40
right.
would be a fair window. We are seeing a difference in the spin rate, which is where your little FLIERs come from here. But again, we're only adding in one element, and that's just really just moisture at this point.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Right, you got your 4?
I do. Pretty standard, I think.
Good.
Good, just smoked it.
Okay. It's nice. 225, oh, 230 on the fly, that one.
It's moving,
Lovely.
yeah.
Coming up.
Ready.
It's raining. Actually it is.
It actually is raining. Should do this test outside.
Okay.
Hit that really well.
Hit it nice.
Oh, it's shorter.
I didn't quite carry as much. It'll be interesting to see the ball speed on that one. Okay.
So that's some immediate, like, what the hell moment.
Yeah. For most people who don't realize that the spin rate flips around and actually goes quite a bit up when we add moisture.
So you get to a certain point of loft,
Yep.
and it's no longer FLIER, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the ball slips up the face.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously a much more flat face,
Okay.
straighter face. So the ball spends a little bit more time on that face, and as it's working up the face, there is a point where it's in contact longer that it will start to grip. Gotcha. So that kind of slipping grip phenomenon is what occurs in a long iron that does not occur on a short iron.
I mean, it doesn't get much more clear cut than that.
That's you couldn't have shown that any better.
That's a third of the spin extra from where it was.
It's a lot.
I mean, that's a lot.
It's a large amount to gain. And especially when you're setting yourself up, right? Picture the scene. Hitting over, your lie's pretty decent, it's raining, quite fancy the carry.
Yeah.
And you go, I've got enough for this club. But you don't factor in you're going to spin it 1,000 more and it's going to come up 7-8 yards short. And all of a sudden you dunk it in the water and you go, why did that happen?
Dude,
Hit that really good.
There's a par 5 at my home club where I frequently will leave myself in the rough about 230, 240. I grab this, I go, jumper, it's going to go forever.
Yeah.
I consistently hit it 15 yards short. And then I go, ugh, you swinging slow? Like,
I know,
what's wrong with
I know,
you?
yeah.
Now, honestly, now I know.
Now you know what it is.
It's spinning like a 5-iron.
So if it's raining and it's wet and it's you've got your long iron, you got to take another club. You got an extra. You got to club up in that scenario. Wow. Whereas everyone's clubbing down with the short irons.
Yeah.
Because you're allowing for the FLIER.
Of course.
You also have to allow for the FLIER in the long end of the bag with one more.
Reverse FLIER.
Yep.
So, drivers?
Driver's going to be a fact. I mean, you don't need to hit none. That's simulated.
This is exactly how.
That's exactly what would
happen. Couldn't have
happen.
done any better.
No, that's perfect. Okay. Nice dry standard driver.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
My driver.
Don't leave the line then.
Go in. Go in. Oh my God. If there was ever proof that I swing better indoors than outdoors, it's right there.
For those of you concerned about Matty's driving prowess, don't be.
Yeah, well, you can still be concerned because until that happens outdoors. Okay, that's perfect. It's the driver you fit me to.
2-2, 13, 19, beautiful.
One.
Okay.
Apply the moisture.
Just looks like a normal drive.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. What do you think?
Okay. So it's, let's just call it as we see it.
Were you expecting to see more, or you weren't sure?
I didn't expect to see much more 24.
Okay.
Well, the 24 spinner was probably fairly expected. All right, Matty boy. So as we kind of said after the 9 irons, the only thing that was somewhat unexpected was the consistency of the launch angle. Fine, happy enough to see that. I would maybe say if we'd done that test a few more times, maybe even outdoors, that might have a little bit of a different outcome. This is not a surprise to me.
No. So that's the expected result. Short iron, half a club to a club more, just from lower spin for the most part.
Yes. Into the 4 iron is where you get the reverse FLIER.
Crazy. The
wet face, the wet golf ball, the sort of different conditions added 1,000 RPMs of spin.
Wow.
So we had the ball sort of come up the face, actually grip onto the top of the club and start to spin more to the tune of a lost club. So we need to club down on the short ones, we need to club up on the longer irons.
Now, it will vary obviously based on how people deliver dynamic loft, but if you had to guess, what club do you think is the break-even point? I wonder where that number is, where it's like the 6 iron flies pretty similar distance.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
There's obviously some point, right?
Well, I mean, talking about sort of that sort of break even, if you look at driver there, probably could argue there's not much going on there. Enough variance to say strike, loft, the basics.
Would override it, yeah.
Would override it. So ball speed's the same. You've on the dry. That was something that was interesting actually on the 4 iron and driver. The wet conditions launched lower.
The driver, I feel like I might have just hit it a bit higher in the face.
Yeah.
The 4 iron, I don't know though, to be honest.
Interesting. Something to sort of, look at and see a little pattern in.
Yeah.
But I think the takeaway, which is what gave me the idea to do the takeaway to do the idea for the video was, most people just don't know that that's what happens when we hit longer irons.
100%. I didn't really know it to any degree.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, but I never really processed the fact that you actually will need to club up.
Yeah. You have to prepare for those wet conditions, and that's not even from the rough. That's a wet day in the fairway. That's absolutely, because you're going to probably actually more relevant to the fairway because you've got the good lie. It's just wet. You're going to make better contact. You're going to protect yourself from a ball speed loss, but you will gain that little bit of spin.
Very interesting.
Good. Well, guys, hopefully that's given you a little bit of food for thought for on the golf course. And I know there's so many of you watching going, that makes so much sense. Like you said, there's a hole in the course where you hit a certain club. You know what it does in normal conditions, but in wet conditions, you've suffered from the ball not flying as far or whatever, and went, maybe it's heavy air today. Maybe it's something like that. You think of it, but you definitely don't think of this.
No.
You don't think that the ball is increasing in its spin rate.
Definitely not, yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Okay, guys, a little nugget there for you. Hopefully you can take that to the course and apply it and help yourself out in those situations where you might need that little bit of information. I'm playing the scenario out in my mind for you guys. You're going down the last in your club championship and it's raining. You've got 4 iron in, so does your opponent. You have this nugget information. This is for you, so you win that club championship. So keep that in the back of your mind. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.